Hi, today I will show you a bit of Blender because there are people that say it's very difficult because there are a lot of menus and stuff. So that's how it happens, and you can see that indeed there are a lot of stuff happening on the right, on the bottom, even on the left. So it's quite dense, but if you only focus on the editing screen and you ignore the right and bottom, then it's much simpler. So there we have a cube, and if we look at the top, it says object mode, view select add object, and if we want to edit it, then we would say, okay, we need to go to edit mode. So we can just click and change to edit mode. So I only used the mouse. And now we have a cube that is selected, and I can left click on vertices, and you see that I can't select the faces or the edge. I can only select the vertex, but I can change the mode. So I have 3 buttons, and I can say, okay, I want to select edges. And you see that now it does select the edges, or I can select faces, and you see that when I click, it will select faces. Okay, the second thing is, yeah, but it's difficult to do manipulatives and to change the vertex position and stuff. And that's true and false because, yeah, I can just click a face and then I can choose to move. So I click this icon and then I have the axis, and I can just drag the axis and it would move. So that's not that complicated. And then, okay, there is no grid because indeed when I did move the face, you see that it's smooth. There is no stepping. But again, yeah, it's a bit of bullshit because at the top you see a magnet, and if I click it, you see that, oh, it snaps. But there it snaps in a relative way. That means that it jumps one step like that, you see. But if I offset it a bit and then I drag it, it would not snap at the same position. And you can see that if I will just do something like that, and you see now this line in the background is aligned with the edge, and if I go down and then I go up, I'm able to reach it. But now if I go down and then move a little bit, it's impossible to reach that snapping point, and that can be annoying, but you can fix it quite easily. We go there, and instead of saying increment, which is the behavior we see, we would say grid. And now it uses an absolute grid. So if I offset like, oops, if I click first and then I offset a little, like I try to put it there, and now I move it forth and back, you see I can't anymore reach it because I'm now fixed to a grid. So in other words, if I align it to be on that grid like this, and you see now I can do some manipulation, and then if I drag it back, it would be at the right place. If I use the smaller steps like this, for example, and then I move it back and forth, it will still snap at the same place. So that, because that's a grid, so the snapping points or the snapping grid is fixed, and when it's incremental, the grid starts where you start to move. So the position of the face is the origin when you use the relative, the increment one. That's the difference. With that sorted, yeah, it's easier to understand. So now I have this, and I want to select the face at the bottom, and you see I can't because it's hidden, obviously. It's there, so I would have to do something like that. And that's not very friendly. But there is a button for that. You can click this, and you see you have a X-ray vision, and now you have these dots that have appeared. and these dots represent the face because we are in face selection mode. So if I click near a dot, I select the face that on that dot. So I can select any face. There I just did all the lateral face and the top and the bottom. And also now I can also select like the two back face. Okay, I selected the top one with that. No. I didn't select the top one. That just the transparency. So yeah, you see, but you can see the colored dots. So that's a better marker. So you see it's easy to even select the back face or the front face or just the bottom face or whatever you want, the face to the right, etc. So that makes it easy to just select the stuff you need. So let's snap this to the grid. Now you see I'm using the middle mouse button to do this, but I can also use the left mouse button and just drag this ball here, and that does the same. And if I click one axis, it will point toward me. So there we have a x-axis, I click it, and now the x arrow is toward me. So if I drag the z-axis down, you see that this arrow is pointing toward me. So yeah, that's the basic navigation. What can we show? We can build something just to see some operation. So I will just drag that down, and I will use a more precise snapping, and I want to make a column. And to make a column, we need a few operations. So I have the base, and now I want to raise a pillar. So for that, I will need to insert the face, and that's the bottom face. So here, I will find it easier to disable the X-ray mode, and I'm sure to select the top face, and I need to insert. If I look on the left, I have a lot of fancy buttons, and this one really look like inserting, so I will pick that. And anywhere there is the yellow circle, I can just drag and insert. When I'm done, when I'm happy, I can just choose another tool, and here this one is extrude, and the green part shows a new things that was extruded, and I can pull this yellow thing and it snapped to the grid, obviously, so I can raise the column, and from that now I can probably make another of these slabs here, and for that I would need to do two things. I will need to extract a new section, so I click with side, and that way it understands I'm done, and I click back the face and I extrude once, and then I will move the face back, and I use shift to snap to smaller units. Now I have something like that, and I need to extrude all the lateral face. For that, I will go back to the X-ray mode, click the axe, I will zoom with the wheel, and then shift wheel to move to translate. I can use this, and you have a hand here, and I can move with the hand, so I don't need to use keyboard stuff. I can just use this. And X-ray mode, we have an X-ray mode, and I would select. I go back to selection, please, and I just do up. I have to be careful that I didn't select the top, which is the case. I see that the top is clear. And I need an extrusion, so you see the small arrow on the button. That means I can hold the left click, and I can simply choose what looks to be the right thing. And yeah, this is clearly the situation I want. And normals means perpendicular, more or less, and yeah, that's what I want. Individual would make a cross, so yeah, that's exactly this one I need. And now you see the yellow thingy, and it will simply extrude like it did explain. So yeah, indeed, I have some extrusion happening. Then I click outside to validate, and I change back to extrude region. I click this face, and I extrude up. And then I will add another tiny slab. So click outside, change to inset, click the face to inset. I did a mistake. Yeah, I did a mistake. Why? Yes, because I didn't choose inset, obviously. So let's choose inset. Oop. Maybe I will do this to see. Inset a bit. And then I need to extrude this part, but I need to extrude it vertically. Now what am I doing? No, that's not good. Control Z. That's the same in every software. I need to make a new slab, so I need a simple extrude. And then I need to bring back like this. And then I need to put myself like this to be able to select the back face. I will zoom, move with this thing. Yeah, that way I'm clearly sure that I did select appropriately. And then I will extrude like this again. And then I will do the last extrude here. Not that one, but that one. I pull, and I would make it smaller. So I have something like that. And yeah, I didn't use fancy menus. I just used what was available on the left. Now I want to bevel the edges that are around. So what I will do is I will change to this edge mode. And now you see that, yeah, it's not very visible, but if I click, you see that, yeah, there is some artifact on the line. And no, it doesn't use the dot. No, it doesn't use the dots, but yeah, it uses the lines. So I mean, the lines are obvious. So now I want to bevel all those edges. So I will just show them. So I selected the 4 edges, and that's why it showed the face. And to bevel, we look and we see this is bevel. And I can just do that. While I'm manipulating the bevel, I can use the scroll wheel to add more bevel thing. And yeah, let's say like that. And on the bottom left, you see now there is a bevel information. And then you have all of these things, and I can change the number of segments just by clicking this stuff. I can drag the numbers. So that's great. I can also click and just type something. Maybe I want 6. And you can also change the profile. So here you have profile type, and that's how it would curve. So I click there. Now it's like a pyramid. And if I move the points, it will just move the shape. You see it's the profile. It looks like this, or it looks like this. That's why it's called the profile. That's because if you look at the profile, it looks like the curve. So you can do whatever you want, even step. I can go into preset and just say, okay, make steps. Now I have steps like ziggurat. So that's, yeah, very easy. I will, yeah, okay, this looks nice too. Okay, let's take that. And I click outside to validate. If I exit the X-ray, then I can see it in all its glory. So that's basic modeling, and you see it's not very difficult, and it's a good model that is with some details, but it's still simple polygon modeling. So that's the easy part in Blender. Now, what the other tools has that Blender doesn't is when you want to paint that. Because if you want to paint that, you need a texture and you need a material. So for that, I would go into, let's go to paint, for example, and it's pink. And pink means, yeah, something is not right. So if I use the brush, I have a small message that say, okay, missing texture. So I go to the ball, and I'm lucky there is already a material, and there is a base color. And the base color, if I click this, the same ball in this tab, that shows the view types, and now I'm using a textured view. If I change the base color to something else, the object changed. But we want to add details and to paint over it, so we can't use a simple color. So we will use this dot, and this dot will show us everything that can be plugged instead of a simple color. And we will plug in an image texture, and now it's all black. And if I try to paint, it doesn't work, because I just said I want there to be a picture, but I didn't say which picture. So here I can click and select a picture that would exist, that I already imported, or I could open the next button to open from file system, or I can create new, and that would create this new picture. And yeah, you can name your texture to the name of your model or models. But here, for now, I have one model. And then you can choose different kind of base texture. And this can help because the UV grid would help you to see how it stretch. But okay, let's not do that. For color, I would say white. And yeah, except Thailand and 30. Not this, because this would means that if you go outside the texture would repeat. I don't need that. Transparency is not required, but okay. And yeah, this is probably less precision, I'm not sure. So I will not touch it. Okay, so now I applied the blank white image, so now it shows white. And I can draw, but if I do some drawing, we see there is no complaint. There is nothing that seems to happen, and accidentally we have something that appears. And you see that it's when I paint here. And that's because I'm painting on the object. The object has a EVA map that says how to match each polygon that is on the object to a flat image. And by doing that, if two polygons are mapped to the same area of the image, if you paint in one polygon, it will paint in the other polygon. And that may be confusing. Here, I'm not on the right image, so I would use the same Asian tower, and that way we can see. And that's how the tower was impacted. So if I draw here, it appears in this small face, which is obviously incorrect. And if I draw here, it would appear on another face. So that's very bad in mapping. And you have to fix it. So I will go into edit mode, and I can change it. Where can I change it here? Here, apparently. Edit mode. And I could do stuff here. I use tab because tab go back and forth between edit mode and whatever you were in. So I'm in edit mode, and I will select everything. You can obviously use it's not there. Okay, so you obviously can't. So here I do the A. That's why I said it's the last nice part, the shitty part. So I do A and it selects all. And then I will do U or UV, and you can select one of these entry, and I would take angle based. And you see that it reproduces basically the same. And if you look at the bottom, you have a message that there are an island, etc. That's because the object is one solid piece, and you have to unfold it to have the nets. It's like peeling an orange, and you want to see the peel when you flatten it. So there it doesn't understand how it can unwrap it. It's a complex object. So you need to start making cuts in the object, or at least saying where it should cut. And here, what I would see that simplest for me is to take this thing, and then you keep this connected, and you cut every verticals, and that way it would be flat like the Burger King crown. So we will cut along this, but we will keep the base connected. So then you have to start working your thing, and maybe I will go into because I can do Z obviously, and then or Shift Z, and then I have this. But where is the button? Where you are when you are in that mode? Yeah, I can't find it. It's hidden. It's only visible in yeah, in modeling. Yeah. So in modeling you have the button, but not in EV editing. So you have to do Z to see the Shift Z to see the X-ray vision. And there I need to select all these lines. Yeah. So if I do that, it looks good. So I would do right click and I would say mark seam. So that means you can cut here. I need to select that one and that one and say mark seam, so it can cut here and here. And I want to do the same for but maybe I can no, because if I do that I would get but yeah, I can still unmark. So okay, I would mark seams like that. So now I have marked all these seams, and yeah, you see that in this mode the seams are easy to see, so that helps a lot. So you see there it's red, it shouldn't. So I will clear. Okay, there I have I will manually click those now and mark. So now I marked all the seams as such that yeah, and then I need to choose one of those to cut. So I would cut here, for example, and then it would outfold. So yeah, so fully open there, and then this pattern. Is this possible? Yeah, because I detach, so they are independent until there, and there we have a top, and the top needs to be connected to only one place. So I would just cut it like no, I would just cut it that way, and that way this part would have everything and that square. This part would have all that stretch, this part all that stretch, this part all that stretch, and then it would be all that stretch too. And that's okay, and the square, so we saw everything. And then there it would be open. That looks good to me. And the bottom, yeah, so yeah, the bottom, it opens. Yeah, it opens. Okay, so now I can do A and I can do UV unwrap. And now we have this funky stuff. And you see that all my square are rectangle. Let's do face. So if you see, this is indeed mapped to a rectangle. So that's it's not the best UV in WAP, but it's good because where I should have good details, it's good. It takes some room. What is that? Yeah, it's the big face. It's at the bottom. I don't care. It could be even more deformed. But the sides, the lateral side, they are nice. They really match the side. That's the shapes. And if you look at this, you may think they are funky looking because they should be rectangle. This one, but if you look in the 3D view, they are not because you are taking only one part of the whole frame, I would say, or border. So it's also a trapezoid in the real world. So that maps 1-1. So we have almost everything that maps 1-1 except this thing. And we could fix it by moving this rotating, etc. But I would mess it, I think. So I will not do it. And now I can tab and go back to texture paint. And if I put a circle, and I would do that just to show. If I put a circle here, it looks like a circle. But if we look in the view, it's not a circle. And to better show it, I will put a nice circle here. And you see it's a nice circle. Although, yeah, your brains will skew the circle because it understands the structure, but it's a circle. But here in the UV, you see it's not a circle. And that means that the resolution of your circle is different at every point. So that's bad. But yeah, anyway, you would not do that. So still shitty part. If you want to draw on the face and be sure to draw a circle, you have to make the face face you. So you'd have to hit Shift and 7 on the numpad, and Shift 7 will make the face like yeah, share the same normal that your site is having. So now, yeah, it's facing you. And if I do a circle on it, and you see that it would create a circle on the UV thing. And yeah, that's basically it. So the art part is making this UV in WAP. And yeah, that's quite difficult. You can also, because this object is aligned to the axis, so I could just do that. But if I want to do something on that face, it's not aligned to any of the plane, so I would have an issue, but no worries. I click the face, shift, no, yeah, okay, but shift 7, and now the face is facing me. Doesn't look like, but that's the case, and we can prove it by making a teeny, or maybe no, a teeny circle. And you see that in the UV we have indeed a good circle because the face faces me. When you want to use it's already there. So if you hit 5 on the numpad, you can toggle between you see that. So the perspective or isometric. And isometric has the advantage that a square would look like a square if it's facing you. So very useful. Okay, and then to reset the view, we can click the gizmo. So then, yeah, you see that painting is possible, and I can really just use the brush like this and paint. And because the UV in WAP is correct, good enough, let's say, that will look good, because where you need high definition, you have it, and also I arranged such that there are no deformation, so it's easy mapping. with one-to-one resolution. And that's the hardest part. Yeah, that's it. That's all there is. So the modeling part is dead easy, but painting requires you some setup and then understanding the UV unwrap. But if you do understand those concepts, then you have a full control on what you do, and you have no surprise, because tools that do that automatically, they have to do some trade-off because they choose for you. So if the geometry is complex, and this is both simple and complex because of the faults that there are. It's not a simple cube. It has faults, and because it has faults, you can't just unwrap it by using the side and guess it. You have to do what I did, the cuts, and then think into space. If you unfold, would two parts overlaps? And if they do, you would have issues. And that's why I said, okay, it's like the Burger King crown. And that means I knew I would have a flat base and everything that spiked from it. And here, obviously, it's all connected. And maybe that's because a seam is not well done. I probably missed something, hence the result. Or it just optimized for a place. And just yeah, the strip is just going like this instead of going straight. Yeah, and we can possibly test it. No, this is connected. 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 So it didn't took the. Yeah, they all seems to be connected, so it didn't took my advice here into account, or maybe yeah, I know why, because they are all fixed to the bottom, and so the bottom needs to be treated as okay. So well, that's why I do something at least good. It's always good to try to do the right thing when you demo it. So I would just pick this, and this. So now this side would be attached to yeah, to this one, but that's a choice. Maxime, and I will unwrap again. And now we have the Burger King crown. So you see that the base of the crown, and then you have the, yeah, I don't even know how you call this part of the crown, the spiky thing. And then you have my base there. So that's a much better unwrapping. Yeah, and then if I go to edit mode and deactivate this, yeah, and you can see that we don't see the because I'm not in painting, we can see that it moved the texture, obviously, because I did move. Oh, I map back to the texture, so I would have to clean everything up. And that means that you can have multiple objects, because there I have I will just clean everything, but in that place here, in that rectangle, I have room for another set of texture that could be applied. Or I could, even if those textures are suitable to another object, I could just remap at those locations. Okay, and then, yeah, then we can still paint. But now we have the guarantee that even the bottom face is nice. Face that you would not see in a game, but yeah, it's much better to paint. So yeah, that's how we have to think. And if you're stuck in spatial geometry, yeah, that's tough luck, because that's not a complex model. Huh? You have curves and stuff. But yeah, that's the way. So painting is sucks, not because the tools are bad, but because it requires you to understand how to fold things. So that's a tough exercise for most people, and that's where the other tool helps greatly. But you have to know that it will not necessarily do a good unwrap. And then that means that when you paint something, it can be sharp in one side and then start to be blurry in the other side of the same area, because the in-wrap is not one-to-one. And that's really the biggest issue. Thank you to have followed that non-tutorial, but I hope that it showed you that Blender is not like, yeah, very difficult.